Basketball fans, the NBA trade deadline is almost here, and we're going to have you covered here at Chat Sports. Next Thursday, February 10th, we will be live for wall-to-wall NBA trade deadline coverage. So be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications. You'll get notified when we do go live. Plus, we have a bunch of NBA trade buzz, news, and rumors to get to leading up to then, including on today's show. So I've got you covered. Chase Sr.'s got you covered. Chat Sports team is ready to rock and roll. Subscribe. We will be your home for NBA trade deadline coverage. We got some big NBA trade rumors to get into. I'm your host, Harrison Graham from Chat Sports. Welcome into NBA Now. And this dropping across the news desk just a moment ago, Charania of The Athletic reports that the Philadelphia 76ers are expected to pursue Brooklyn's James Harden ahead of the NBA trade deadline on Thursday, and the Nets are now open to discussing a deal. Rather than talking about the full article, yes, this would be a Ben Simmons-centric trade for James Harden. And wow. There had not been a lot of buzz recently. It kind of felt like Simmons was not going to get moved, but now it looks like it is an increasing possibility that Darryl Morey, who's been holding out for a good trade offer, might just find one from the Brooklyn Nets, as James Harden has reportedly not been happy in Brooklyn. You look at his numbers this year for the Nets, 22.5 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. The efficiency hasn't been great shooting-wise, but he's still, a really, really good player, almost averaging a triple-double for Brooklyn this season. And like I mentioned, this is very interesting. And Harden in particular, you've kind of read tea leaves reports that he's not happy with Kyrie Irving, who's a part-time player due to his vaccination status. You hear that Harden does not enjoy living in Brooklyn. And now maybe he's voiced those concerns with the Nets, and it's gotten to the point where it's like, Brooklyn's like, okay, we'll listen to trade offers because Harden's a free agent after this year and he can sign elsewhere. So if you're Brooklyn, you're like, well, I know Ben's, may not have the best attitude or may not be as good of a player as James Harden, but you know what? He's under contract, under team control. We can get another role player or two like Seth Curry or Tyrese Maxey as well. Then that is something that we would have to consider. So I'm going to ask you guys, will a James Harden, Ben Simmons blockbuster trade happen? Type Y for yes, type in for no, predict it for us down in the comment section. I hope so, because that would be the trade deadline extremely juicy. This would be a home run for Philadelphia. I've been pretty critical of Darryl Morey, as I think he's held the asking price pretty high for Ben Simmons, a guy who hasn't played this year, a guy who played very poorly in the playoffs last year, a guy that is unwilling to shoot from the outside. But if his patience pays off and you get James Harden out of it, even if Harden is slightly past his prime, I still think that's a hell of a get by Philadelphia and a hell of a coup by Darryl Morey. I think that would be fantastic. So we'll see what happens. Shams is all over this, so stay in the know. And like I said, hit that subscribe button here on Chat Sports. Let's get to the next trade rumor here. Bradley Beal, is he going to get dealt? Well, there's increasing buzz that he could get traded because he essentially came out and said, I'm not going to commit to a contract extension with Washington unless I know we're going in the right direction. Obviously, the Wizards started out hot this year. That is not maintained. And for Beal's current contract, he's under contract through next season, but it's a player option for the 22-23 season. So he could opt out of that and hit free agency. And if you're Washington, you could lose him for nothing. A la, years ago with Dwight Howard and the Magic, very similar situation. I think it's time for Washington to trade Beal. I think it's time to just let this go. Now, I commend Beal for trying to make it work in Washington. It's just not a desirable location for free agents. So they haven't been able to bring in the necessarily talent around him into Washington. And as much as I like Beal, he's not a true number one, in my opinion. He's a number two for a good team, and that's what needs to happen. He needs to go to a team that needs a number two. 23 points per game this year, 6.5 assists. He's not shooting it that well from three, right at 30%, but 45% from the field overall. I think he can be an excellent, Robin to someone's Batman on a different team. But Washington's not getting a Batman. Beal is their Batman, and that's just not good enough. at the end of the day. So I think trading him makes sense. I think it's increasingly likely. And if you're the Wizards and you don't want to lose him for nothing, you might as well ship him out. I think these are teams that could make sense. There's been buzz around these teams. Plus, these teams have potential assets to trade. Boston, they wanted to trade Jaylen Brown, they could do that. Or if they want to package Marcus Smart and some other pieces, that could be an option. The Cavaliers have a ton of young assets. Maybe they want to trade either Colin Sexton or Darius Garland. Memphis has a lot of nice young pieces. Would they be willing to trade a Dylan Brooks or a Desmond Bane to pair someone with Ja Morant? Maybe. How about the Knicks? He'd probably be the best player in New York, but they have better depth than Washington, so maybe that could work out. And then, of course, Philadelphia. We talked Ben Simmons. Could you do a Simmons for Beal swap? I don't know. I don't know if the Wizards would do that, but if I was the Sixers, I would absolutely do that in a heartbeat. Which team should trade for Beal? What do you guys think? I mentioned those five. I think there's certainly other teams that would have interest as well. What team, in your opinion, should trade for Bradley Beal? Get your votes in down in the comments. Before we get to our next trade rumor, I want to tell you guys about our deal of the day with our sponsor, Fanatics. Valentine's Day is almost here. We got a ton of NBA gear on sale. I know my wife loves wearing a lot of my hoodies. So why don't you get a hoodie that's your size, and then it's a good gift for your girlfriend or wife as well. Chatsports.com/NBA hoodie. You got team ones, player-driven ones, this sweet Ja Morant one. I saw a Steph Curry one in there as well. Chatsports.com/NBA hoodie. That link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description of this video. Click and shop today. Stay warm because here in Dallas, it is freezing. The roads are literally frozen. Check it out, chatsports.com/NBA hoodie. Okay, let's jump into Julius Randle now. And I'm not sure if this will happen, but things have really started to unravel in New York with Julius Randle this year. And it's really sad to see how it's all played out. He has really just struggled to play this year. And if it was just that, I'd be like, okay, he's having a down year. But it's really compounded into not only is he playing poorly, but he's starting to turn on fans, and fans are starting to turn on him. It's getting kind of ugly here. You look at the comparison side by side as the Knicks perhaps mull the possibility of trading him. I mean, it's just not even close. Points way down, assists down, shooting splits way down. Like that's the efficiency is the biggest issue there. 4% down from the field and over 10% down from three-point range. His efficiency has just fallen off a cliff. I mean, there's no way around it for Julius Randle. The numbers have dipped, and that's just the easiest and most brutally honest way you can put it there. But you compound that with his attitude tanking as well, then it's like, okay, you've got a problem. It's not just he's having a bad year. He's not that leader that you need him to be. He's not playing staying positive and being there as a leader of this team, at least publicly. That's how it looks. I mean, you got Kendrick Perkins coming out and saying, hey, I don't know if this can be salvaged. I think you have to consider trading him here if you are New York. And that's a big deal, man. That is a big deal and a big problem, especially considering the Knicks just signed him to that 4-year max contract this past offseason. So I don't know, man. I don't know what his trade value is. I don't know who would want to trade for him. But if you're the Knicks, I'm at least taking calls, man. If someone's interested in Julius Randle, that's probably something I would consider. What do you think? Should the next Knicks trade Julius Randle? Type T for trade him. Type K for keep him. Get your votes in down in the comment section. I could go either way, man. A lot of it will depend on trade offers that they get, but we'll have to wait and see. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's show. Like I said, the NBA trade deadline is looming next Thursday, February 10th, just 5 days away. So stay locked in, stay in the know here with us at Chat Sports. Hit that subscribe button, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We will have you guys covered between now and then.